welcome to Pandemic Cooking. You have been asking for burgers, so today we're going to make burgers. This morning I made a brioche dough and I thought, burgers on a homemade brioche. I'm not sure. This is it. She's maybe rising. Brioche dough is very high in fat. It's a very rich dough. So we're gonna see. I mean, at this point we just pray. So what I'm gonna show you how to do is I'm gonna show you how to mix your ground beef mixture to make homemade hamburgers. And I'm gonna let that mixture kind of marry for a little bit while I bake the brioche buns. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to cook them inside Son's barbecue, and they're gonna be super delicious. So what I have right here is 1 pound of lean ground beef. I would not use regular ground beef. I find it's too fatty when you're cooking. Extra lean doesn't have enough flavor in my opinion. So we're gonna start with a pound of lean ground beef. Now, what I wanna talk about is that there are so many different ways to make hamburger patties. A little restaurant you may have been is called McDonald's. McDonald's, the ingredients in their patties is beef, salt, and pepper. That is it. They don't use any binder, no breadcrumbs, nothing. So all of that can go out the window. I know Mr. Dawson does his with none of that stuff as well, and just kind of flavors and shapes the patties. But I'm gonna show you what I do. It's a little bit different. Take this information and kind of go with it how you want. So pound of ground beef. Now here is my complaint with beef. It is not what enough, Ms. Zen? What do people not put enough of in their beef? Salt.
Okay, listen though.
What?
You're not supposed to add salt.
It's baloney.
No.
Because you think it dries it out?
It makes the meat tough. You're supposed to put salt on it after you've made your patty. Have you tried that?
No, we're gonna do it my way.
Why don't we try it without salt?
Because it goes against everything I believe in. Okay. I'm sorry. I listened, I considered, we're going back to my way. And you know what, the egg almost rolled off is karma, okay. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of salt, okay? I'm gonna really get in there. I'm gonna also do the same amount of pepper. Because you want, in my opinion, you want your beef to have enough flavor that is gonna taste good, yeah? Okay, I'm going to use a ground onion. We talked about putting some chopped up fried onions. Ms. N gave me it's a hard no, okay? So we're doing that your way. All right, so I'm using ground onion powder. And the other reason why I like to use these spices instead of the actual ingredient, like instead of fresh garlic, is I like it to dry it up a little bit because I'm gonna add the egg as a binder. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
You want your burgers dried out?
No, but like, not dried out, but I don't want them to be like too
Listen, you know
wet.
what? I'm trying to trust you. I'm doing my best to trust you.
You're trying.
Everything else you've made has been delicious.
Thank you.
I'm on this jury.
Thank you. A good shake of garlic powder, like probably a teaspoon at least. I'm gonna add Worcestershire sauce to this. Okay, I like a Worcester in a meatball, in a ground beef. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons here. Now, I looked everywhere for our breadcrumbs. I couldn't find them. So we're gonna use the parm. I'm gonna crack an egg in. I know you're just...
Welcome to Foods. It's a Dell's way or the highway. Get used to it.
Get used to it. Now, the reason why you're gonna enjoy this is because it's going to, why you add breadcrumbs to your burgers in the first place is to try and absorb some of that juice so it doesn't all leak out, right? So the burgers are juicy and to hold it together. I find that Parmesan does the same thing for me and it adds a gorge flavor, okay? So you're really gonna love this. So what you're going to do is you are going to get in there with your clean hands, okay? So the best way to mix the burger meat or the meatball meat or whatever, and I think Mr. Dawson, he did an Italian meatball with a rosé. You can do that Italian meatball recipe that he did and make that into a burger, okay? So if you don't like my way, you can try it that way. You can do it Ms. N's way. But what I said at the beginning, Ms. N, was that there's lots of different ways to do this, yeah?
Yeah.
There's not just this one way, but
And in your mind.
in my mind, this is the best way.
There's one way.
Yeah, in my mind, there's one way that I'm willing to do. Okay, so I like this. This doesn't look too eggy or too moist or anything like that. See, we have to, like, I can't make a cooking video without saying moist. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to smell it. Does it smell good? Does it have, I'm going to trust that sense is if there's not enough flavor of something, I'm going to smell it. What I'm going to do, I feel like it needs more salt. So what we'll do is we will do a little dusting when they come out of the oven. I'm going to pop this into...
Why don't you do a dusting before you put it in?
Is that when you do it?
Yes, that's when you're supposed to do the salt dusting. It's before you put it in.
Well, I misunderstood.
You're not supposed to put it in the burger when you're mixing the burger.
I misunderstood. So obviously this is going to be an epic fail. Okay, epic fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this kind of marry, let those flavors kind of intensify. Keep it in the fridge until I'm ready. I'm going to get my buns baked, and I'm going to show you how to shape the patties and cook them inside. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Hi, welcome back to Pandemic Cooking. We're going to finish our burgers. I'm here with special guest, Mr.
Swanson!
Mr. Swanson. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making burgers in the oven. Now, both of my colleagues here are quite apprehensive.
I'm not apprehensive.
You're not. You are.
I'm not
He is.
apprehensive. I just never done it, and
I make
I'm.
burgers all the time in the oven.
Yeah, I love the
Okay, you're
barbecue
good,
though,
okay.
right? So.
But yeah, it's. I feel like it's like a man thing. Okay. So
Yeah.
can you just pan over to my brioche buns?
Brush.
Josh?
I was worried. I was like, I don't know about this. Okay. So we've got our beef here. Now we've got some brown coloring happening. Mr. Swanson, do you know what that's all about?
This is oxidization.
Yeah. So basically, it's like when your blood hits the air, it goes from blue to red. It's basically the same thing. Okay. So we've seasoned the beef, and now we're gonna make patties. So basically, what you're going to do is Mr. Swanson is being smart, and he's divvying it up into 3 balls. Now, here's the thing. What I've done is I've put the cooling rack on top of the baking sheet like we did for the chicken skewers and the Greek skewers, and you are going to shape a patty. Now, what you need to know is that no matter how big you make this, and you're like looking at your buns and you're like, Miss S, that is a huge patty, she shrinks, okay? So it is going to come up and like shrivel into a little ball. So you have to make them bigger than you ever thought that you would. Am I right, Mr. Swanson?
It's true. You got more beef than I did, so mine are going to be a little smaller than yours. But you know, I won't.
Well, here, do you want a piece of that one?
No, I don't mind. It's still a pretty
Like,
good
seems
size.
just too big.
Yeah, that one
It
might
does.
be a little
That
one
large,
seems
but
a little
you know
big.
what? It's fine. Here, yeah, there we go. I'll take a little.
Okay. So, and then once I get them on this, I kind of reshape them a little bit, which you do not have the luxury of doing that on the barbecue.
Fact.
Yeah,
Fact.
right? Like you can't reshape them on the grill, otherwise they're gonna come out with, you're gonna be in emerge. Okay, now Ms. N and I had a very big debate before you came in.
Oh, I'd love to hear about it.
Well, she said, what, you put salt in with the beef? And I was like, you bet I do. And then we had a big conversation about how you're supposed to salt them now before they go in the oven. Am I wrong?
I've heard that too. I don't really know what that's for.
I am gonna salt them. So there are some different theories about the salt. The number one is the salt can make it tough. Number 2, it can make it dry. So when you have salt, or you have salt in your diet or whatever, it can make you retain liquids. But wouldn't that be a good thing for the?
Feels like it would be.
I don't know. Okay, these are gonna go in the oven on, I've got it on broil on high. I am going to come back in about 5 minutes, get ready to flip them. I'll get the cheese on, and then we'll assemble our burgers. Okay, see you in a minute. Bye. All right, so they've been in for about 5 minutes. What I do is I open the oven, stand back because it lets out a big steam. So I'm
good
gonna
in here.
pull these burgers out. You can see that they're cooked almost all the way through, but I'm gonna give them a cute little flip. Remember that I sprayed my pan so I don't have any problems here. And do you see how much they shrunk? This was that big boy. And I'm going to brown them on top. Now, Mr. Swanson, what's that magic number? When is your burger done?
Oh, the internal temperature of beef. Is that what you're
Yeah,
looking for?
burger, ground beef.
Let's say 170.
What's that in Celsius? Because we're in Canada.
Oh, right, we're in Canada. So let's divide it in half, which is 85 minus 30, 55.
No. Your burger's done at 71. It's a cute little
71,
rhyme.
yeah.
Cute little rhyme.
Burger's
So,
done at 71.
Burger's done at 71.
That
So
is cute.
basically, you can have a hamburger done if it's pink in the middle, just as long as it's at 71 degrees Celsius. So any potentially harmful bacteria is killed. You can have your steak rare in the middle because any potentially harmful bacteria is going to be on the outside of that steak. On the grill, you sear it, you sear that bacteria, you kill it, you're all good. That's why the inside can still be rare. But with a burger, you've taken that steak, you've cut it up into a bajillion pieces, and now
Hi.
I found the mayo.
It's ugly.
I know, she's a big boy. That's why you can have your steak rare and your burger not so much, okay? That's why it's important that we cook ground beef all the way through. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cheese. You can take whatever kind of cheese you want. Do you know what? We're gonna be back in a hot sec once I find the meat thermometer. See you in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna pop it into the burger.
And it can be hard with really thin patties.
Yeah.
Don't just stick it all the way through and wonder why it's so cold.
Yeah, looks great. It was broken. Okay, I'm gonna pop the cheese on. I like a Kraft single. We want it, and they were like, "Hey, let's get a marble." I'm like, "Yes, Ms. Anna, I can get behind you on that." Sold out. Pandemic.
Sold out of marble cheese.
Pandemic sold out. So we went with the low fat just because we have to cull it back somewhere. Yeah, and so basically we're making the best decision at the time. I'm gonna keep this in the oven on high, broil until that cheese is nice and bubbly, and we'll come back in a minute to assemble. Oh, I left them just a touch too long. We've got a crispy cheese right there.
Looks delicious.
Victor would love. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take the best one here for me,
Fair.
pop it on my burg, okay, and we'll hide the other ones. We'll give them to admin. I've got a piece of burnt cheese on my arm.
How's that feel?
Great. Okay, so now the rest, my friends, is up to you. We've got lettuce, we've got pickles, mayo, mustard, all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think. Put your comments down below. I know that you're gonna like the barbecue better, but listen, in a time of crises, -40, I got you, okay?
Pouring rain.
I got your back. Pouring rain, this is how we do it. So I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. I'm gonna let you know how that brioche bun is. If you want a video for that, let me know as well. And also make sure that you smash that subscribe button. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Mwah, mwah. Bye.